You gotta transfer your center line all the way around to the back side, across the end, and then underneath the scroll. And just go right on around the volute. Okay, I have laid out the peg box, and I've darkened in the actual dimension of the peg box. This area is the area that we'll be making the cut to remove the excess material here from each side of the peg box. This first line right here and over here is the bottom of the heel, because the bottom of the heel is wider than the top of the peg box. It has a taper. So you will have to cut it straight and then file it down by hand with shapers and a file and scrapers to obtain your peg box side profile. When you make your cut, stop your cut in approximately this location. I have completed making these cuts on each side of the peg box. Mark a guideline across the area that corresponds with the start of the toe for the scroll. Now with your other pattern, place the pattern on the line at the toe. On the center line, hold it in position and check to see that you have enough excess material on each side of the center line to be able to trace your pattern. Now that it's clamped in place, go ahead and bend it around the curvature of the scroll. Follow it up, holding it tight, and line up the center line on the inside of the scroll near the peg box. Hold it in that position and double check your work. Then trace that line on both sides. As you make your cuts, try to maintain squareness with the volute eye. This way you will have a straight volute on each side of the scroll. One of the characteristics of a handmade instrument is the minor variances of the scroll work on each side of the scroll. Here I have drawn extra guidelines to represent the saw cut coming down the top of the scroll. This is to maintain your vertical alignment with the eye. Alright, I have now removed enough material to where I can go ahead and round off this section of the second level of the volute using a file. With great care and precision, slowly take the material down, but try not to take any material from this area right in here on the side of the volute. Remember, the grain direction is changing as you go around your scroll, so work slowly and work carefully and with accuracy. Add them a little bit further around. I can transfer the second volute. I have evened this section off to just above the line, so I have a nice smooth curve in order to use as a guide. I've roughed out the second tier. I now have to curl around into the eye. I have cut small curves to relieve the wood to help remove it a little bit easier. Using the skew chisel, set your cut angle and do a slight push, and the chips will just fall right out. You want to ensure that you're not going below the line on the side, and that you're going at an upward angle, because the volute travels up in a spiral. The next cut will have to be with the chisel, because it's too close to the top to use for the saw. This is a little bit harder to do because the grain pattern has changed direction on you again. Take a round chisel and score the line around the eye, just outside of the eye, so that you have a little bit of excess material there that you can take off later. Put the inside point of the chisel right on the edge of the eye where you have scored it. Remember, you have to stop before the grain changes direction and you end up tearing out more than you want to take out. Using a smaller file, go ahead and finish shaping the area around the eye. And that completes the roughed out scroll. I will do the same on the other side. As I work, I will be looking from this direction at this size to match it on this side. You look from the top down, from here, to match over here. Here you can see that the two spirals are pretty close. The volutes appear to be very close to the same shape. Over the next few hours, I will be cleaning up all the kerf marks and setting the final dimensions for the peg box and the scroll. While I'm working, I'll be evening it out, looking at both sides and comparing them. Here you can see I've finished shaping around the bottom of the volute and up the back of the scroll. I will continue on around in front of the scroll on up with curlicue in that spiral. Using your small gouges, use the inside of the volute, this edge right here, as a guide